and welcome to Scott's Inverts. I'm Scott. These are the inverts. Today we are looking at the ornithoctonus species thani. In fact, I think it's actually been described now as thani. Absolutely stunningly beautiful, old world, almost a dwarf tarantula because of its size. But anyway, let's get into the video. So our girl comes to us all the way from Thailand, experiencing temperatures between 25 to 34 degrees and experiencing humidity around 70 to 80% for around 60% of the year. So this is something we've got to think about when we're setting up our enclosure, how we're going to maintain that humidity in our enclosure. Now these are an old world fossorial species. So up on screen now you can see my adult female and she is absolutely stunningly beautiful. The carapace on her is just absolutely amazing. Now these females will mature quite early on, around 5 to 6 years of age, with the males maturing around 1 to 2 years. The actual life expectancy of these spiders, we can only give an educated guess at the moment because there's just not enough information out there. So we're looking probably around 10 to 15 years. If you've had one longer, please let me know down in those comments and we can work this out as a community. Now, being an old world fossorial burrower coming all the way from Thailand, expect them to be very defensive, and this girl certainly is. She seems to adapt and to learn every time she gets rehoused. She kind of learns and she tries a new maneuver the next time. They are extremely fast, extremely defensive. So if you're going to rehouse one of these girls, just be really careful. Now the adult size for these is around 4 to 4.5 inches for a female and around 3 to 3.5 inches for a male. They're, I'd say, medium to fast growing species. I've had this as an adult female for 2 years and she molted once into an adult female around a year ago. So I'm expecting another molt from her kind of any time now. But they are absolutely gorgeous. Now the fossorial side of it, we do need to provide fossorial enclosure for her so she can burrow down and feel nice and safe. Now as slings, what we want to be doing is looking at those sling vials and literally filling up 3/4 of the way with substrate, keeping that substrate nice and moist. What this will allow is allow our spider to dig down as they should and feel nice and secure. And as that spiderling grows up into a large sling and then a juvenile, just increase that enclosure accordingly to match our spider. Coming from Thailand, Thailand does experience a rainy system, so if we are going to be looking at breeding these, we do need to take that into consideration and kind of recreate that in our enclosure as well. So run it through the seasons as accordingly and we should be all good to go. Generally speaking, this spider is going to be a pet hole. We're not going to see the females out very often at all unless we're running through those seasons, and then she will start tapping and start coming outside of the burrow. If they're hungry, they will do the same thing, but when they do, it just makes it extra special. And when they do, take that picture because you're probably not going to see her again for another sort of 6 to 12 months. Now what I do with my fossorials is I don't allow them to sort of gorge themselves out. I just go to feeding an adult female once a month. This allows us to see the natural behaviour of the stalking and get a glimpse of the tarantula. And this tarantula is definitely more for an advanced keeper. There's not a lot out there on their venom toxicity levels. I did have a look, but I can't find anything. If you know of a paper that's out on their toxicity, please let me know down in those comments and drop the link in there if possible. That would be absolutely awesome. Anyway, let's take a look at the enclosure. So this is the setup. Nice little Exoterra. We've got about 4.5 inches of substrate at the front, going up to around 6 at the back. Water dish, hide so she can go in there and hopefully that's where she'll make a burrow. Plenty of nice damp moss. What that moss does is help to keep the humidity in the soil, as well as slowly releasing it up into the atmosphere of our enclosure as well. And that should be absolutely perfect. I'm going to spray it probably twice a week just to keep it nice and moist in there as well. There's some springtails gone in just as part of the the clean-up crew. And that is as simple as that. There she is. That's probably going to be one of the last times I see her. They don't really come out, they burrow very much. More just for feeding and mating. And as a typical fossorial, she's gone for a climb. Boom! So that was our thani, an absolutely beautiful, beautiful dwarf tarantula, dwarf old world species. Absolutely stunning. That carapace and the markings on the bum are just to die for. They're absolutely beautiful. Let me just go over it again though. They are an actively defensive spider. So if you've kept defensive spiders before, take it up a notch, and that's where we are with this girl. It's like an OBT in a pet hole, and she certainly will be a pet hole. So when she does come out, try and take a quick photograph, because like I said, you're hardly going to see that girl again for a very, very long time. If there's any more information out there, please let me know down in those comments, because I could only find limited little snippets of information. I do believe this spider's actually been in the hobby for around 10 years. It's just not that looked at as much as, and I do think the whole genus is absolutely stunning. We've got quite a few here, including the species silver grey and the costal. They're absolutely beautiful. This Tuesday we have the live with Adam. He is a zookeeper, senior zookeeper over at Birmingham Wildlife and Conservation Park. He also takes people all around the world on herpology holidays, as well as going off on his own herping adventures and writing papers on reptiles as well. This guy is not just your average zookeeper. He is extremely well known in the zoo community and very, very knowledgeable. So if you're keeping reptiles or inverts at home and you've got those advanced keeper questions, pop them in those comments on Tuesday and we'll ask him. He's also a guitar hero god. He is in a rock band, so he is cool as well as. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, we shall see you again on the next one.